Welcome back to Blockchain Pill. My name is Alex, and today I'm back with another podcast. And today my guest is Sebastien, the founder of the Motoko Bootcamp. For people that are new and don't know what Motoko Bootcamp is, it is literally the place where you go to learn how to build on the Internet Computer Protocol. Sebastien, welcome to the podcast. It's our second time here. I'm excited to find out more about what you've been up to. So welcome to the pod.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I'm super excited to be back. I love being here and I love what you're doing with all those interviews. So
thank you very much. And we actually met in person last week at the Definity's third anniversary in Zurich. So, before we start anything, I would like to get your opinion. How did you find the event? Did you enjoy it? How was it for you?
Yeah, I got those little stickers, those little Motokos that I've stolen there. So yeah, the event was amazing. For me, it was especially meeting the people. Doesn't really matter, the place, the activities. For me, I just spent the day talking and networking with people. And the best thing was seeing people that I met during the boot camps being there and being excited, talking with me and talking with others. Honestly, I didn't see too much like the talks and the other activities. I just talk with people all day. And Zurich is a great place. It's very expensive, but it's a great place.
Absolutely. And I really love the fact that, people from all over the world came to Zurich for this event. Like we had most of the ICP influencers, a lot of the project leaders, everybody was there to celebrate ICP's third anniversary. So let's get into, who you are and what you've been up to the past 2 or 3 years in the ICP ecosystem. So tell our viewers, some things about you.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. I just fell in love with the ICP vision. I started learning Motoko 3 years ago. So even before ICP was live, I was already convinced that this is just going to be the future and I want to be building on ICP. So started to learn Motoko and I've been spending the past 3 years just helping other people get started. So initially, the first few things that I've done was working on a project called ICP Squad. For those of early ICP community members, I was the lead developer there, helping the technical side of things. So, doing the whole tech side. And after some time, we run the Motoko Bootcamp, the first edition. And that's where I decided, okay, that's what I really like to do is teaching people and helping people get started. So I started to focus on helping other developers. And so, yeah, many things happened those past 3 years, but essentially I've been just focusing on growing the ecosystem, and especially from the developer side, because I think that's most important thing, just helping people get started. And after that, the ecosystem will naturally build itself.
When you mentioned that when you discovered the Internet Computer Protocol, you realized that this is the future, what do you mean?
So many things. It's the future on so many aspects for me. I thought a lot about it, and I think I don't care what's the underlying protocol, but the vision of this decentralized computer, this is going to happen. I'm 99% sure it's going to be on ICP. I think other protocols have also a role to play in making this a reality. But the vision of how to build on ICP, this is what gets me excited. It's not so much about the technology. ICP is passionate, it's really interesting technology. But what I mean by the future is how we build on ICP. And so I can go into all sorts of long details about that.
Yeah.
But the thing that gets me excited is what we call open internet services. So those are services that run open source. It's managed by a community, and everyone benefits from being part of the network. So this is, for me, the next evolution of social media. It's also the next evolution of crypto. So it's bringing all sorts of topics together. And the internet computer makes sense on a technological level, but also economical and also social level. So many topics. It's bringing everything together. That's why it's so interesting.
What would you say separates ICP from all the other blockchains currently?
Yeah, this is this aspect of being able to build a public infrastructure. You can build an infrastructure that is completely open source, and you can grow a network. So you can grow a network of users, and users have the ownership of this network. So think of a network of cells, and you are a cell, and you are actually exchanging energy, you are exchanging value with the whole network. But the whole of the cells together, they actually are able to do something that one cell is not able to do. For example, Tiger is a good example, but I think it can be replicated for many infrastructure. And instead of having extracting relations between the users in the network, you have a very like positive and virtuous relation, because everyone benefits from actually increasing the energy of everyone else and not reducing it. Like it makes sense also from economical level. The basically the I think the income of the future, and sorry I'm going into all sorts of topic, but
No,
I think the
it's
income of the
okay. Like,
future is going to be related to like the networks that you are part of, and the networks that you are part of equals essentially the communities that you are part of. So it's already happening. I mean, people are following influencers, like for example you. They are not able without ICP to actually organize, like, you know, to have an infrastructure that is owned by the community. Now it's possible, and so people can organize differently than they used to be.
in Zurich, I took an interview, and I remember that you are super big on DAOs. Like, you really love the concept of DAOs, and you mentioned that, you know, in the future we're gonna have a bunch of micro DAOs, and by leveraging ICP tech, you know, those are gonna become possible. So
Yeah.
why do you think DAOs will be such a big thing in the future?
So actually, I think I would like to change the world, because I've talked with a lot of people in the past few weeks, actually. And I've noticed that when I say DAO, people think about the governance. So they think about voting, they think about the like decisions and decentralized governance. I think this will be a big topic in the future. But what I mean by DAO, it's networks. So networks of individuals, and it can be for many different like reason or purposes, but individuals want to be part of a network, either to educate themselves, either to learn about something, to build something together. And this is what I mean by DAO on ICP. So it's actually those ideas of creating networks, and it's already happening. I mean, we are just, you know, Twitter is a network, YouTube is a network, all the big actually Web2 platforms are just networks. The thing with ICP is those networks become public. So it's not like you have a private company that is going to extract value from the network. It's actually the opposite. It's public, so it benefits from everyone and it benefits to everyone. And that's what I mean by DAOs. So those are more like those networks. And I think this is how we should grow application. This is how we should think about application on ICP. It's all about the network.
So basically, you're envisioning a future where social media apps and basically all the platforms that we are using are going to be decentralized, and the users are going to be part owners of those platforms, basically.
What I mean is we should rethink how we design application and protocols. So currently, applications have been built around features. Like, this is the place where you can post a picture. This is the place where you can rent an apartment. This is the place where you can book a car. So Web2 applications have been built around features mostly. Now Web3 applications are going to be built around communities. So on a technical level, it means that, well, first users will be able to own a part of the network, because they actually are able to own a canister. So it represents like their, as I was saying, this digital cell for them, this capsule that they own. You can think of an application or a protocol as canisters talking with each other. So it makes the whole network much more decentralized, because it's about connecting people directly to each other. And then, of course, you still need developers to like build like front end and website so people can access it, at least in the first time, because we are still using websites mostly to interact, or web application. But it makes the conception of application and the conception of protocols a little bit different. So it's hard to understand. I think it's also why it takes time for ICP to actually spread out in the mainstream. Networks tend to grow really slowly in the beginning, and then they grow really fast.
And what would you say are some of the benefits of a decentralized platform compared to the platforms that we have right now, like the Facebooks and Twitters and so on?
It's much easier to customize it for the user. So you will not have the same experience in the future depending on your social relation. Like right now, I know it's already a little bit the case, because users, like, they have their specific feed, but it's still one application for every single person. In the future, you essentially the application is the combination of all the, I would say, little application that you use. So you have a much more customized digital experience that actually is tailored to you and benefits you. So it's only positive relation, and it's something that is much more beneficial to you as a user in terms of economic incentives, or also in terms of user experience. And the second benefit is the transparency of it. So it makes it much easier for people to actually collaborate, because they can trust the infrastructure, because it's open source, so they can see the code. And we can even imagine also artificial intelligence in all this mix, which is another topic, I guess, but it can
Yeah.
really move things to the next level.
If AI is going to be on chain where it's transparent, you can see if something was rigged, or if the AI, it lies or was coded to lie. So I think it has a huge application for AI. So let's get into how, people can learn to build all those things. Let's get into the Motoko Bootcamp. So what is the Motoko Bootcamp, and how was it started?
So Motoko Bootcamp is the foundational program to get started into the decentralized world. I think it's about learning Motoko. So Motoko is a programming language to build on ICP, and also learning about those new patterns of design, like how do you design a network, how do you design an app on ICP, how do you create a community. All those topics need to be discussed and brainstorm. And so Motoko Bootcamp is this place where you learn about Motoko, the internet computer, and those new topics. So open internet services, DAOs, and of course, everything related to ICP.
So you take somebody who is already a developer, but a Web2 developer, and you teach them everything about Web3 and how to get started on the Internet Computer Protocol, right?
Exactly. In 1 week, we turn Web2 developer, Web2 builders into Web3 builders.
Mm-hmm. And how was this started in the beginning?
Yeah, so this is actually Isaac wanted to learn how to code in Motoko. It was when we were working together on ICP Squad. And one day he wanted to learn. He told me, could you teach me about Motoko? And so we started to talk about it. And then he said, why not open it to more people? And so it was 2.5 years ago, we published this article, and we said, if you want to learn Motoko, fill out this form. And we had like 500 people in a week registering for the first Motoko Bootcamp. And then for 1 week, I invited several OGs and like developers that were already familiar with ICP. I created content and run the first edition of Motoko Bootcamp, so people could actually join. And back then we built NFT, like the NFT application for people. But essentially it was this idea of, all coming together and learning about those new topics.
How does the Motoko Bootcamp 1 week look like, if you were to break it down and briefly describe it? So people sign up for it, and then what's the process?
The first thing is that you have an initiation challenge. So we actually are selective with who can join the Motoko Bootcamp. You first need to kind of prove that you are able to do it. So you need to deploy your first application, your first canister. And so you have to break this first challenge. Once you get the first challenge, you actually have 7 chapters that you need to complete. Each chapter corresponds to a little project that help you build your DAO or your network step by step. And then at the end, you deploy it, you get verified by our infrastructure, and you graduate from Motoko Bootcamp. So this can be done fully online. We are also running in-person events. And so in-person events, we go much deeper into who you are, what are your motivations, and how we can help you grow in ICP. So how, maybe put you in contact with some person, support your project, give you ideas. And next year I will be running more Motoko Bootcamp in person. I think those are really important for the community. But this year has been, it takes time, to organize events in person and to meet the right people. It takes time. So I've been doing a lot of online events as well.
So can you give us some stats? How many developers went through the Motoko Bootcamp, and how many in-person events did you guys have? What are some of the things that the developers built? So people would be interested in that.
Yeah, so right now we got in total, I would say 5,000 people that have expressed interest over all the Motoko Bootcamp. 1,000 people actually registered on Motoko Bootcamp, and it depends because we have run like different formats, but I would say, yeah, it's like 400, 500 Motoko Bootcamp graduates. Actually, I need to go through the previous bootcamps. We've tried different format and different approach. And so we had, I would say, different batch of graduates. Like they are the original, the first ones. Then there are the Motoko Bootcamp from 2023. And now there is a new format that is stabilized. So with the platform that we have, and also we have a website where you can do all the steps. We have everything that is automated now. So we are at 500, like 400, 500 graduates at the moment.
Which is an impressive number. And if a Web2 developer is watching this video, what would you say is the main reason why they should, check out Motoko Bootcamp and go through the process to become a Web3 developer?
I'd say it's about your future. So there is a new world of possibilities. And I often get people asking me, like, can you get a job? Can you get, a lot of money working in Web3? It's possible, but it's also about what you can build, because there are so many unexplored possibilities. There is actually, different story for everyone. And I believe that it's just so beneficial. Like, I mean, if you are an entrepreneur or if you want to build something, why would you still build in Web 2? The opportunities are much more difficult to find there because everything has already been done almost. In Web 3, the space is fully open. And I don't think people realize how many opportunities. It's like completely, crazy when you think about how many opportunities there are. And that's not the case in every like other industries, because one thing I want to say is like we are rebuilding everything. So if you go to another industry, you are going to basically work for other players. You will integrate in something that already exists. And yes, there are opportunities, but the biggest opportunities are here because you are actually rebuilding like everything from scratch. So it's like,
Yeah, I agree. That is true. So one thing is it is a lot easier to get funding in Web3 in crypto, and the competition is there is less competition, fighting for the same funds. And not only that, but it's it's global, and you can get people to invest from all over the world. If you have a good idea, it's great to build it in Web3. Motoko Bootcamp was under the umbrella of Code and State. So first of all, what is Code and State? What do they do? And then we'll go into Motoko Bootcamp going from under them on its own. So I want to dive into that. So what is Code and State? First of all?
So I receive a lot of questions for that specific aspect. I'm excited to talk about it. So Code and State is a venture studio. So it's a place where you learn how to create a business. So actually, Code and State was founded by Cedric Valberger, which is someone I met actually in Zurich. It was 2 years ago, and I really liked the idea of Code and State. Essentially, at the time, I would say, starting my entrepreneur journey. And Cedric is someone that has a lot of experience, and he talked to me, and we got along together, and I decided to join Code and State. And I already had run a Motoko Bootcamp in the past, so we essentially discuss how I could make Motoko Bootcamp a better experience. And now I'm outside of Code and State because I believe that to grow the bootcamp, because we talk about DAOs, we talk about network, the best thing that I need to be doing right now is to grow it as a DAO. So essentially try to scale it from the community side. And so Code and State is more focusing on businesses. I think businesses are super important. And actually, I'm glad that I've been like at Code and State for 1 year and a half, 2 years almost, because there is like a lot of value in knowing how to run a business, learning how to follow, metrics, how to be a good entrepreneur. And I want to bring this professionalism to building a DAO. So when people think about DAOs, they think about like something that is very kind of, fluctuating. It's not very, it can be a little bit not serious. I'm really serious about building this DAO. It doesn't mean that I won't I want it to be decentralized, but I also want to take this professionalism approach and see how it can be applied to a DAO and how we can really, move to the next step. But my decision was basically based on the fact that I want to grow this with the community. So that means, for example, having new teachers coming in, new people that I would help run bootcamps in their own cities, with their friends. And I think it's the best thing to do is to be fully transparent with doing that. When you want to build a DAO, you have to showcase like transparency. And I want to be doing that from full freedom and with all the ideas that I have. And that's the best thing about it. Yeah.
So I think when people hear the word DAO, because we've seen so many DAOs that didn't really not much happened with them. I think they instinctively, it's the same with NFTs. When people hear NFT, they're like So I think, and you mentioned this earlier, maybe the correct word would be like a decentralized community, maybe. So
Yeah,
instead of
I
a
think
DAO.
it's the correct word, like a decentralized community or a network.
Mm-hmm.
It's like bringing all the pieces together, because when you think about NFTs, when you think about tokens, DAOs, those are just pieces. It's like saying shares or
Mm-hmm.
um, money. This is not how you build a society. You build a society with humans first. So I think people have a hard time with those concepts because they are still not being used. And
Yeah.
the thing that is missing to use them is the community. Like the community is everything, and then all the other things like the technical side, the governance, is just something you put on top. um, but yeah, without the community, you cannot do anything. So
Absolutely. So how?
decentralized community, I like it. Yeah, decentralized community, I like
It
it.
sounds better.
Yeah.
It sounds better, and it's not tainted, by past experiences that people may have had. So, what's next for Motoko Bootcamp? Like, how is it gonna look like a decentralized community?
This is a good question. Actually, the next step is to run a hackathon. So we are running a hackathon this summer. It's called Open Internet Summer. So if you want more information, you can check out our website, openinternetsummer.com. During the hackathon, I will actually be participating as a builder. I will be an organizer, but also a builder. And I will be writing the white paper for the Motoko Bootcamp DAO. So my idea is, I don't want to be one of those projects that just decides a vision, like not talking to anyone in the community, just doing a launch and raising money without really having the support of the community. I want to be doing that with the community. So I will be writing the white paper in public. Anyone that is interested can join the hackathon, ask me question. And once the white paper is done, the next step will be to actually like follow the roadmap, like running more bootcamps essentially is going to be something, growing the community, but also structuring the community in a way that we can actually sustain people that contribute. So there needs to be like a economical model, and there needs to be also an infrastructure. There needs to be governance. So we need to take decision on how all of this will be structured, and that's my mission this summer. Is this mission of writing the white paper.
So basically, the role of the Motoko Bootcamp will be to spread the awareness about the Internet Computer Protocol and helping developers get into the internet, into ICP, basically.
Exactly. One of the goals with Open Internet Summer, and I'm building a place where people can join and share ideas and share projects and work together. So I call this collaborative building. And it's something that I believe is necessary for ICP uh, because of the way we have to design systems on ICP. As I was saying, those open internet services, the problem is companies and like traditional structures, they don't necessarily have the incentives to build those open internet services. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of mental energy, it takes a lot of resource to build those things. The only way you can actually get there is if you have someone and a community supporting each other to build in that regard, and everyone using the services of other people. So that's one of the goal with the community, is to build those services that we can use and reuse each other and benefit from the growth of everyone that is building those services. It's not going to make everyone just 1 or 2 times better. If it works, it's making everyone like 10 times or 100 times more efficient. And if you're talking about beating the existing marketplace, It will take time, but I think it's possible to have a fully community-owned marketplace or fully community-owned DeFi exchange. It will take time. It will take trial and errors, but this is the way. And I think this will be the case at some point because this will be more efficient long term.
So basically, you're training developers into how to build on ICP, and you guys have a group, and then everybody can suggest, okay, let's build this, let's build that, and you'll be able to disperse funds, to fund those teams to build those platforms that they decide to build.
Exactly, that's the vision. So we also have a lot of infrastructure that we need to build for the bootcamp itself. I have already built, I would say, the foundation of it, but if it really needs to scale, and take more people, also take other initiatives. I know that other projects also need their own bootcamp and educational initiatives. We need more people to build that. So for the future of Motoko Bootcamp, what we will do is actually list all the things that need to be built and just say to people, okay, this is what needs to be built. Let's get to build. And the best way to learn something is actually to get to build. And the people that already have the experience, so for example, me and other developers that have been around for a long time, will be able to guide new people on those new ways of building, those new patterns, giving the right, the right incentive and also the right mindset, because that's really important. And eventually, this could be a self-sustaining community. If you have enough of those open internet services running together, this will make the community sufficient. And that's the vision for it.
Many people, when they hear about a new DAO launching, they ask, why does it have to be a DAO? And I think you pretty much answered that question. But for the people that want to ask that direct question, give them a few reasons why Motoko Bootcamp should be a DAO and why this concept will work for it.
So many ways to answer that. I think the most simple answer is there needs to be other people teaching, and I cannot teach like everything myself. There needs to be other bootcamps happening in other places where I cannot be. There needs to be more initiatives, more videos, more resource. And the way to do it is to grow other people to do it with other people, but not in a, I don't want to hire people. Like I want to build this from the ground up with the community. So the DAO is just the structure that makes that possible, because we still need a way to make sure that people that actually contribute get rewarded. They at least have a sufficient income to at least sustain themselves, not have a place to sleep. We still need an economical model, but I just don't want to hire people and like use those, I would say, traditional structures when we have the technology to actually do something different. And that wouldn't make any sense, like we are teaching about something and doing the opposite wouldn't make too much sense. So that's why the DAO for me is just like impossible to avoid. Like this is the way to grow. And yeah.
So basically the DAO is going to be the centerpiece that all the developers are building around, and building this vision of a decentralized community that builds what needs to be built for the Internet Computer Protocol, which I think goes with the theme of decentralization and the Internet Computer Protocol.
For the Internet Computer, yes. In the first time, we will focus around the needs of the bootcamp, because we cannot build everything. We also need focus. I think it's also one of the problem with DAOs, like they tend to lack focus. And when you already have some experience with entrepreneurship, you know how focus is important. And this is like a vibe that I want to give in the community, this idea of focusing. So maybe rebuilding the entire Internet Computer is like a big mission. So, in a few years, if the community is large enough, but in the first place, building the infrastructure that is needed for the bootcamp. So when people graduate, they receive a diploma, how to make this diploma actually reusable, how to make it accessible to other people. If someone wants to build an application where they give some feature like to the bootcamp graduates, how do we make that possible? Also making sure that we can onboard new mentors, people that can actually teach. And if those people bring more developers, they also should get some reward back. So all those like primitive tools that needs to be built, this is what we will focus on in the next few months. But after that, yeah, like we can see big for sure.
Do you have an estimate time when this decentralized community is going to begin?
Well, this summer it's already beginning. So the white paper and the ideas that we are discussing already, it's for me the beginning. When you're talking about the token launch or more like concrete infrastructure, I cannot give any date yet. I want to be doing in the right way, like not rushing things. So I cannot give any date for the token launch or more specific. It's already happening. Like if you want to join the Discord and discuss about that, it's kind of already happening. It's just
one of the last things that I want us to touch is tell us a little bit about the team behind this Open Internet Summer. Who is on the team and how does the structure look like?
I have the privilege and the luck to have amazing people around me. So one of them is Eli. Eli is someone that I met in the first Motoko Bootcamp that I run, actually. It's a very interesting story because he didn't know how to code. He actually learned, he was so interested by ICP and the whole vision of ICP that he decided after the bootcamp that he took to go to a coding school. And it took 2 years of his life to actually learn how to code. And now he's a developer and he's helping me with the Open Internet Summer. And the second person is Ricardo. So Ricardo is also someone that I met in the first Motoko Bootcamp. We even had discussion before that. Ricardo Capuz is someone that is also pretty active in the ICP ecosystem. He has a game called Elementum, and he has also been organizer for ICPCC, the ICP Community Conference. So he has been around for some time, and he's helping me with the Open Internet Summer. There are also other people helping me, but those are the people that have committed like serious time and serious support for the event.
So when's the next bootcamp that people can join, and start learning about ICP? When is the first date that they can join?
Open Internet Summer, it's not a bootcamp, but a hackathon from 22 of June to 21st of July. It will be online, and we also have some local hubs. For example, I will be hosting an event in Lisbon for 1 week. Anyone can join. The next bootcamp will be announced after the DAO is live. So right now there is a waiting list for the next bootcamp. People can fill out information if they want to join the next bootcamp. It will be around the end of 2024, but I cannot give an exact date right now.
Okay, and afterwards, after the token launch and the DAO begins, what's going to be the schedule for the bootcamps? Is it going to come back to like one a month? I think it was.
It was 1 a month. It will be longer than that. So probably one every 3 months to have time to essentially focus on specific items between the bootcamp and also have time to organize real events, because it takes time and resource to, get in the ground, organize an event. So it will probably be a little bit longer than one every month.
You're planning to focus more on in-person events rather than on online. And I guess, stream them at the same time, so that people can participate from home. And we saw how cool that was with ICP CC, having a live thing going on and people from all over the world also watching and being able to participate in that. That is great. That is exciting. And I'm looking forward to see, what you guys will turn Motoko Bootcamp into. One last question. What is your ICP price prediction for the very top of this bull run?
In the $150. That's my prediction.
That's very good. That's very good. Because I hear people on Twitter, on X, when I ask them, they say like the top of ICP is going to be like $36. Like, what the fuck is that prediction? Like, why are you even holding it? If we inside the ICP community are saying like $30, how can we expect other people to buy into it? 150, I like that. Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to be super happy about $150. So yeah, I think with that, we can wrap it up. Do you have one last message from the ICP community? Now is your time.
Just come to Motoko Bootcamp, learn about open internet services, have fun, build the decentralized future. It's for everyone, and it's the best way. Like it's your path. It's the best path for the future. So just come here and learn about it.
Thank you for tuning in. Good luck with the Open Internet Summer. And I'll see you around. Whenever you have an update or anything, you can DM me and I'll help you guys with a retweet. And good luck building this vision that you guys have.
Thanks a lot, and always happy to be here.
This was Sebastien from Motoko Bootcamp. A lot of exciting news coming for the bootcamp itself. Is gonna decentralize, like you heard Sebastien say. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. Don't forget to check the Open Internet Summer. The link is going to be in the description below. And with that, we're done. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.